Our Acharya spent a lot of time in writing those books. And we don't have to go through the struggle of writing. Our struggle or austerity is to reading. Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to write from 10 o'clock in the evening till 4 o'clock in the morning. That was his writing time. Prabhupada also used to get up midnight and used to spend a lot of time in translating and also giving his Bhaktivedanta purports. So learning is very, very important. So if you want to have growth in your leadership, learning is very, very important. Then A accepts responsibility. Leader means responsibility. It's not a privilege. So people get attracted by the privileges of leadership positions. But leadership is not a privilege. It's a byproduct. You get all the privileges, but the principle of leadership is responsibility. You cannot delegate the responsibility. You can delegate the authority. But in modern world, we delegate the responsibility and keeps the authority. That is not a good leadership. We have to delegate the authority and accept the responsibility. You should be responsible for everything. Then you are a good leader. Whether it's a good thing or bad thing, you should be there that, yes, I am responsible for it. If you want to avoid responsibility, better not to take leadership roles. So accepting responsibility is very, very important. If you have proper responsibilities, if you perform your responsibilities properly, authority is like a shadow. Authority will go behind you. That's why it is said, who can be the good kings? Who do not want to be the kings. Favorite Maharaj. He was forced, counseled to become king because he knew that accepting the position of a king is a big responsibility. So therefore, we should not be allured by the privileges or authorities of the leadership positions. We should be always focused on the responsibility connected with the leadership positions. Then D demonstrates transparency. So leader should be open book. Prabhupada was open book. His eating, his sleeping, his writing, his everything was open book. So that openness has to be there, transparency. Nothing should be hidden, nothing should be private. Everything should be open. That is very, very important principle to be a good leader. And E extends helping hand. Leader means you should be always ready to help, not to take control. Prabhupada, when he was approached, Prabhupada, you should go there, you should go there. Prabhupada said, where I am needed, where I can help, I want to go there. If some places is happening very wonderfully, why I need to go there? I need to go where help is needed. So that is a good leadership quality. Not control, but help. Everybody needs help. So a leader is that person who provides help. There are two kinds of help, Prabhupada said. Manpower and money power. So a leader is that person, in case somebody needs that, he should be ready to extend that help. And there are other help also is needed. The principle is that a leader should be always ready to extend help. And R respects everyone. Prabhupada says that who is Uttamadhikari Vaishnava? Who respects everyone, every living entity. Who is a Madhyamadhikari? Who respects all the Vaishnavas. And who is Kanishtadhikari? Who respects only the Supreme Lord and his spiritual master. So different levels. But we think in a different way. We think that if people are offering respect, more number of people are offering respect, then I am advanced. Maybe when I started my devotional service, only few people are offering obeisances. Now number have increased. So we start thinking that I am advancing in Krishna consciousness. But that is not the criteria. The criteria is that whether you are offering respect to more and more people. That is the criteria of advancement. So offering respect is very, very important principle. And it is also said how to see the greatness of a person. How he is dealing with the common people. Respecting seniors, respecting some people who have high positions, whether you doing it from heart or not, you do it. Right? There's a tendency we have. We see some person having high positions, respectable positions. So we offer respects. But that is not enough to be a good leader. Who is a good leader? How he is interacting with the common people. Whether he is dealing with them respectfully or not. So that is Vaishnava principle. That is also applicable in order to understand who is a good leader or not. So what do you want now? We should have some interaction after this, or we'll continue. I think in between we should have some interaction because this is the foundation of our discussion. You have any question, comments on this acronym leader, the 6 principles which we discussed now? So you are open for discussions and questions. Yes, Maharaj, but there is only one. What to do? Character. What are the components of character? Yes. So Prabhupada says character has different aspects, but how, for sannyasis he says, how he is dealing with the opposite sex, how he is dealing with the money. So if that transparency is there in dealing with money, women and other people, the aspect of respecting people or not, he is abusive or having service attitude, there are different components of character. So that components, there are different components, and primarily money and dealing with people are very, very important components to understand the character of a person. He should not abuse. He should use that in the service of others. That determines the character of a person. When it is engaged for the service of others, that is a person of good character. And when it is used for his own enjoyment, that is not a good example of a good character. See, you have any other ideas, Maharaj? Whatever I understood, I shared with you. Character also, whatever he talks, he practices that. That is also a very important aspect of character. Acharya means who teaches by example. So Prabhupada gives the example that one mother went to a sadhu with her son and requesting the sadhu to tell her son to stop taking sweets because he was not listening to her. Then sadhu said, come back after 1 month. Then after 1 month, she went to the sadhu again. Sadhu said, my dear boy, please don't take sweets. The mother said that simple words you could have said 1 month before. Why you took 1 month to say this simple thing? And sadhu said, when you brought him, that time I was also taking sweets. So how can I tell him not to take sweets? So I practiced not to take sweets for 1 month. So then now I am in a position to tell him not to take sweets. So yes, very important point, Maharaj, that we should practice what we speak. Any other point? Yes, Maharaj. Eager to learn. Learning has different levels: information, then transformation, then revelation. 3 levels. So when we hear, when we read, then we get information. When we translate that information into practice, that becomes transformation. And when transformation becomes complete, it becomes revelation. And revelation is the perfection of our spiritual journey. So it's a journey. Leadership is a journey, it's not a product. It's not that tomorrow, early in the morning, you get up, you become a perfect leader. So you have to practice it. Sadhana bhakti theke hai roti dudai roti gara hoile prem nam koi. So prema is a perfection. So in order to get that, you have to practice sadhana bhakti. In the same way, in order to become a perfect leader, you have to go through the journey of imperfections and gradually come to the level of this Uttama platform of a top class leader. Okay, but start respecting that principles should be practiced, at least spiritual master and the Lord, then seniors, then also equals, then juniors, then outside of the devotee community. So in that way, slowly we expand the area of our respect. Okay, so journey should start. This is the goal of the journey. Any other point? Yes. Yeah, I'm not telling that whatever I spoke here, it talks about all the aspects of leadership. Just to carry something easy to understand, easy to memorize, easy to remember, so that we can apply it practically in our life, and journey should begin. So I tried to cover as many aspects as possible in this acronym, but it's not all inclusive. So there are so many other things that are also there. It's a vast subject matter, but we'll be focusing on servant leadership, but to get an idea about leadership. Yeah, humility, because he felt that he is not qualified to take that. Because he was not focusing on the privilege, he was focusing on the responsibility. So when you focus on privilege, you think you are most qualified because you need that privilege. And when you look at the responsibility, you feel very unqualified because you look at the responsibility. So when we focus on responsibility, naturally, tendency is to become humble. Because responsibility is the bitter pill to swallow, and privileges are the sweet balls to not swallow, enjoy. Hare Krishna. So we can move. Why does it help to be a servant? We are constitutionally we are servants. That is the problem we have, right? It's a problem or it's a privilege? To be a servant is good or to become master is a good thing? Why? Everybody wants to become master in this world. Not everybody, most of the people. Why? Because it's very interesting. But here it is completely opposite principle, to be a servant. But the servant is the most prestigious position. Even the Lord himself wants to be a servant. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Krishna himself, but in the mood of a servant. There are two kinds of Bhagavan. Sevak Bhagavan and Sevya Bhagavan. So Krishna is the Sevya Bhagavan and Balaram is Sevak Bhagavan. Prabhupada said the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. So servant enjoys more than the master. Krishna said, not said, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme enjoyer. But he saw that whatever he spoke is not true. He saw that his devotees are enjoying more than him. So he thought that better to be a servant. So when Sanatana Goswami approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about his identity, Mahaprabhu said, Jiver Sarupay Krishner Nitya Das, Krishner Tathastha Shakti Vedaved Prakash. This is our constitutional position. So wherever we will be, we are servants. Who is the master? That can be decided. There is no option that we can be master or servant. We have to be servant. But who is the master? That is a choice. Right? So Krishna consciousness means to accept Krishna as the master. Then life becomes perfect. So we will not go in details because time is short. But if you analyze our life, what is the difference of servant and master? Master is independent, servant is dependent. So in all our activities in this world, we are dependent. For our birth, for our education, for our upbringing, for our maintenance, whatever we do in this world, we are dependent. Even for our survival also. Eating, drinking, also breathing, we all are dependent. So it means we are servants. So Prabhupada talks about servant leadership. And also these are some principles of servant leadership. So it means that service is the priority. A servant can become a leader if a leader remains a servant. And when we think about others, that is the principle of servant leadership. That we think about others, just like Lord Ramchandra. He is also a perfect leader. He was a king. And he was very popular. Super popular in Ayodhya. What he did? He did two things very wonderfully. He did so many things for the citizens. So when there was some crisis in a family, sad incidents in a family, he used to go and cry with them. And when there was some celebration in a family, he used to go and be part of that celebration. He did these two things. And by that he became servant leader and popular servant leader. So that is very, very important. The servant leader is always concerned about others. He is not concerned about himself. Prabhupada also said, a Vaishnava does not have anything to do in this world. Sukadeva Goswami's example, when it is explained in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he does not stay in one place, goes from one house to another house. Why? Just to help. He is concerned about others. He has to serve. That is the secret of servant leadership. Shebya or Sevaka, we have to decide. So when we accept the position of serving others, then we are servant leader. And when we are in a position expecting that everybody will serve me, then who is he? Enjoyer, he's telling, enjoyer. So he's not a leader, right? You are accepting that principle? So we cannot become Shebya Bhagavan, right? That is the position of Krishna. So when we accept that position, consciously or unconsciously, that is very unnatural position we have. So we have to have that consciousness that we are servant, and at any position we have to serve. Even the Guru, a bona fide spiritual master, he thinks himself as the servant of his disciples. When the disciples used to offer obeisances to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Guru Prabhupada, he used to say, Daso Asmin, I am your servant. And he used to offer back obeisances. So that mood of servant is very, very strong in the true leader. So some important principle to remind us about servant leadership. I serve because I am the leader. I am the leader because I serve. Servant leadership begins with a natural feeling of wanting to serve first. And Krishna is the best servant leader. And when he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also exhibits that quality, not only one quality, he exhibits so many qualities of a perfect servant leader. Some flags you are seeing now. Some flag. So different aspects on the road of our leadership. It's called Servant Leaders Roadmap. So it begins with mission. Mission is very, very important. If you don't have any mission, then what will happen? You don't know what to do. And in this world, many people don't know the goal of their lives. If there is no goal in life, then problem solving becomes the goal of life. Because there are so many problems. And people become so busy in solving problems, and they think that solving problems is the goal of life. And that's why people are paid for also, very high salary. Solving problems. But the purpose has to be understood. If you don't have goal, then problem solving becomes the goal. But when you have a goal, then you will focus on goals. Then what will happen? You will deal with the problems. As problems come on the way to achieve the goals, we will deal with that. Problems will come. But problem solving should not become the goal of life. There should be some goal in life. So what is our goal? Today in the Bhagavatam class it is very nicely explained. That what is the goal of our life? To know Krishna. To achieve Krishna. And Mahaprabhu taught Krishna Prema, love of Godhead is the goal of our life. Right? As a spiritual leader, as a spiritual seeker, as a spiritual practitioner, what is our goal? Prema Pumartha Mahan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the goal of our life is eternal love of Godhead. And he was also given a mission. Prithivite ache jato nagaradi gram, sarvatra prachar hoibe more now. As long as we are in this body, we have the mission, very clear mission. We are so fortunate. People spend so much time to have their mission in life. But our mission is coming directly from the Supreme Lord. We don't have to break our head. What is our mission? What is our vision? Everything is given by the Supreme Lord. And our acharyas implemented that. And our mission is to spread the holy name in every town and village all over the world. That is our mission. And Prabhupada got that mission, and he also gave that mission to his followers. So mission is very important. Then mission should come from mentor. We should not have our own mission. That is very dangerous. Especially in spiritual life. I have my mission. Then you are missing the whole point. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started his preaching when he got the instruction. Nityananda Prabhu started his preaching when he got the instruction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, position of the mentor, position of the spiritual authority is very, very important in our life. Then, after getting the mission, we have to prepare and plan. Srila Prabhupada's life, whole life is for preparation. He got the instruction in 1922 and established ISKCON in 1966, a long journey. but he was not idle. He was preparing himself. So preparation is very, very important. Then we should not think that things will come very easy. If you don't work hard, then nothing will come. Consistent hard work is very, very important. So Prabhupada showed by his own example also how he worked very, very hard. Then what will happen? In the process, there will be failures. If you have fear to fail, then what will happen? Many people have fear of failures. Those who have fear of failures, they cannot succeed. Every success story has the history of failures. Many people, big people, big successful men in the history, they faced so many failures. Prabhupada also, his journey was also very, what I can say, very painstaking, and his attempt to establish Krishna consciousness at the early days, it was very, very difficult. He was alone, no support, league of devotees, so many things he tried to do. It was not happening, but he never gave up. So then, the value system. If value system is very high, then you will never give up. That's the same. Next principle is never give up. Prabhupada never gave up. Why? Because he received the instruction from his spiritual master. He was not doing for himself. He was doing for the pleasure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, when you have higher value system, then a leader will not give it up, even if there are so many failures. Then, in order to be successful, we should have a proper team and organization. Prabhupada also, during his last days, he told Giriraj Maharaj that our movement will continue by organization and intelligence. So organization is very, very important, team and organization. That's why Prabhupada established International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And he also established a system of management by which people together will manage this society, not a single person. So therefore, he has established a GBC body and collective management system in order to have wonderful organization. And in that way, the mission will continue. In ISKCON Maharaj, we have a mentor, His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So his instructions are our guiding principles. So he is our main mentor to guide us through his proper representatives. So that principle has to be there. Otherwise, we have a tendency to go in a different direction. So in ISKCON, our system is very unique. And the system has been given by our founder Acharya only. He never appointed anybody that he will be my succession. That is the way generally mutts they run. One Acharya leaves and another Acharya is appointed. But Srila Bhakti Chandra Prabhupada said, after I leave, the GBC body will manage. A team of managers will manage the society. That's the way Srila Bhakti Chandra Prabhupada wanted. And exactly the same thing was done by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And he said, whoever will follow me, he will be the leader. So he was very, very clear about that. So true follower can become the true leader. So your point is that from whom I should receive the instruction. So primarily in ISKCON, the preeminent Shiksha Guru is Srila Prabhupada. His instructions are the guiding factors in our life. And the representatives, the leaders of our movement, in the same spirit, gives that instruction down the line, and accordingly we carry forward with those instructions. Because primary instruction is the same. Everything is detailed, right? Our goal is to systematically propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world in every town and village. That is our main business. So in order to do that, Prabhupada has given 7 purposes of ISKCON. But in order to achieve those 7 purposes, we can devise so many means and ways to achieve those purposes. And according to our nature, according to our inclinations, according to our situations, we can be part of different ways and fulfill those purposes of ISKCON. Then life is very simple. Some people think Srila Prabhupada got from his guru directly. But Prabhupada's situation is different. Our situation is different. Arjuna got instruction directly from Krishna. Then people start thinking that we are not that fortunate that we are getting instruction from Krishna. But Prabhupada writes that same instruction is available through the representatives of Krishna. So that is called Guru Parampara. So we have that system. If somebody can truly represent that Parampara, then we can have the same benefit. What benefit Arjuna got, what benefit Srila Prabhupada got, same benefit we can also get, provided it is done in that proper spirit. Okay. Other details can be discussed privately. So, B. P or B? P में भी हो गया, ठीक है. So we'll be discussing 10 secrets, not secrets, all known to you, because you are the devotees, you are devotee leaders. So we try to understand 7 principles, 7 secrets from the divine Vedic literature for Gauriya Vaishnavas, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So first is humility. Second is Acharya, means leading by example. Values contribution of team and giving feedback. Compassion and personal care to team members. These are the 5 wonderful principles Mahaprabhu exhibited through his different pastimes. So all of you know that journey of Prataprudra Maharaj. Prataprudra Maharaj wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to arrange the meeting. But Mahaprabhu completely rejected. Because as a sannyasi, he is not supposed to meet the king. And they are trying to politely force Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very upset. And he said, if you force me like that, then I leave Puri. And devotees are in anxiety. And they stopped begging. So it's a whole journey. But because of the humble attitude of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prataprudra Maharaj, he continued the journey. And his spiritual master told that if you are engaged in the service, especially the menial services, then definitely your desire will be fulfilled. So on Ratha Yatra day, Prataprudra Maharaj was cleaning the road. That is the tradition. The king generally cleans the road on the Ratha Yatra day to start the Rath. So sweeping is not a great job, right? Somebody does not say, I got a good job. What? Sweeper. But Prataprudra Maharaj is very proud to be the sweeper of the Lord. The Lakshmis, they also clean the palaces. In Vaikuntha also, there is no dust, but still they clean. Because that's the mood of service. Very interesting principle. Advaita Acharya, he is Mahavishnu, right? And he is plucking flowers to make garlands. See the life of Advaita Acharya. So humble. Radharani. Sometimes we don't give much importance to cooking service, right? We love to honor prasadam, but we don't love to honor the service. They do the hard work and we enjoy. But you have to understand that Radharani is the head cook of Krishna. So much importance is given to that service, right? But we don't give any importance. For us, what is very, very important generally now is a trend. You have to be the manager or you have to be the motivational preacher or speaker, right? Giving lecture, that's most important. Right or wrong? But there is no lecture session in Golok Vrindavan. So what to do there? You'll be missing. Somebody asked that there is newspaper in the spiritual world. He said no. So what's the point going there? If there is no PPT presentation in the spiritual world, what's the point going there? But cooking is there. Cooking is there and cooking is going on eternally. Inconceivable services done by Srimati Radharani, and she has been cooking since time immemorial, but till now not a single item has been repeated. I don't know how it is possible. Right? Inconceivable. That's why you cannot understand. Some people are, how to understand? You cannot understand. That's the point. So menial service is very, very important. That's it is said, it is not a service, but the attitude. It's very powerful. Attitude matters. It's not the aptitude, but the attitude that determines the altitude of our devotional progress. It's not that what service we do, why we do. That is very, very important. Why? So that's very, very important. When we know why, then things become very wonderful. But we are so much into avidya, what to do. But if we don't know why to do, then we are missing the point. That's very, very important principle. So serving in a menial service attitude attracts Krishna's attention. Very, very powerful. So the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University, he came to meet Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And he was telling that I have some questions. Those who are intelligent, they have questions. They always have questions, wonderful questions. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada understood the mood. He said, I am very busy today, but your questions will be answered definitely by my disciples. They are there, next room. If you can kindly go there, they will definitely address your questions. So he went to the next room. That was not exactly room, that was a deity kitchen. And the devotees were cleaning after offering was done. So he entered into that. He said, your Gurudev sent me to you. I have some questions. You are expected to answer my questions. So definitely will answer your question. But today some devotees did not turn up. So if you can help, then we can finish this cleaning quickly. Then we can answer your question nicely. I said, okay. Somehow the Vice Chancellor started the cleaning, following the footsteps of Prataprudra Maharaj. So his cleaning was over. Then the disciple asked the Vice Chancellor, he said, you have some questions, can you ask? And he said, I got the answers. This is the potency of service that attracts. Everything is revealed. Dibba Gyan, Hridaya Prakash. It's revelation. It's not information. It's revelation. So information, transformation and revelation. So here, Prataparudra Maharaj exhibiting the quality of humility as a servant leader. Although he was the king, but he was doing the cleaning service. So Prabhupada also introduced the system. He used to also clean. Not only clean, he used to do everything. Cutting vegetables, all the preparation, then cooking, serving, cleaning, everything he used to do. That's why he touched the heart of the citizens of America and Europe. Because by his service, he conquered the heart. So conquering the heart is possible when we exhibit the quality of humility. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not only speak, he also exhibited personally the quality of humility. So all of you know the story, how Mahaprabhu transformed the sannyasis at Varanasi, Mayavadi sannyasis. Because the Mayavadi sannyasis headed by Prakashananda Saraswati, they are criticizing Mahaprabhu. Why? They are telling that he is from our school and he is expected to study Vedanta. Right? But instead of doing that, he is singing, dancing, and he is also doing that with thousands of people on the street. What kind of sannyasi he is? They are criticizing. But the devotees of Mahaprabhu did not like that. Their hearts were broken by hearing all these criticisms. So they arranged a meeting between Prakashananda Saraswati and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, this picture shows he was sitting on a place where there was their feet, unclean place. And by that activity itself, he started conquering the heart of the sannyasis. So this is very, very important principle. Even humility can conquer the heart of critics. Even hard-hearted people, they change by seeing the humility. It's very, very powerful quality. So Mahaprabhu is teaching that through this pastime. And he also told, when he was asked the same question, that why you don't study Vedanta. So Mahaprabhu answered in a very humble way. He said that my guru told me not to study Vedanta. Why? Because I am a fool. I don't have any qualification to study Vedanta. That is the mood. And he gave me a mantra, and I don't know what happens when I chant this mantra. Kiba mantra dilla gosai, kiba tar bol. Jopite jopite mantra korila pagal. So a madman does anything. So I don't know what I do when I chant this mantra. So in that way, he exhibited tremendous level of humility. And by that, he conquered the hearts of all the sannyasis present there. So humility can conquer the heart. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami also conquered the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by their humility. And Rupa Goswami became the Acharya, main Acharya of a line, not because of other qualities. The only quality attracted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was not attracted, it was breaking the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Rup Sanatan told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we are more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. Then you may think that they don't act like that. But it's not visible in their life. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is singing, Amar Jibon Sada Pape Rato Naiko Punneroles. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is telling that my life is full of sinful activities. There is no trace of any punya. But we see that his life is fully dedicated for Krishna's service. Then why they are telling that? They are telling something to make a drama out of it? What do you think? They think about it sincerely think about it, and because they take shelter of Krishna because of that, and because of that shelter of the Lord, all these things go away from their life. That's why you cannot see that. That is the principle. Unless and until we recognize that we have problems, then how we can surrender? That's why that genuine feeling of low position of ourselves have to be practiced. That's why Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj used to say, fake it till you make it. We have to practice it because there is no other alternative. Because I say that spiritual journey really begins from the third verse of Sikhastakam. Till that is car in neutral gear. You know, those who drive car, they know. Even if you push the accelerator, if the car is in neutral gear, what will happen? Only sound and smoke, right? So, but you think the car is good, car is new, everything is there, fuel is there. I am also a good driver. I know the techniques. I have the driving license also. Still, I am pushing the accelerator, but car is not moving. Why? You need automatic car. Because it is in neutral gear. So, Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nibriti. Up to that level, our car is in neutral gear. So, when we come to the level of Nishtha, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tararapi Sahishtuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. That is the first gear. Then second gear is Ruchi. Third gear is Asakti. Fourth gear is Bhava. Fifth gear is Prema. That is the journey. But the journey starts really when we cultivate the quality of humility. Otherwise, car does not move. That is the principle. That's why Mahaprabhu, by his act, not only himself, through his associates, again and again. Rupa Goswami, he could know the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While Mahaprabhu was singing that love song, apparently love song, of a young boy and young girl in front of Lord Jagannath, nobody could understand that Mahaprabhu does not meet a lady, but he is talking about love. Singing love song, just like movie song. Nobody could understand. But Rupa Goswami understood. And he composed a verse to explain that mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was the mood of Srimati Radharani when Radharani met Krishna at Kurukshetra. Radharani told Krishna that you are the same Krishna, I am the same Radharani, but we are not having the same mood because we are not in Vrindavan. Let's go to Vrindavan. That was the mood Mahaprabhu was exhibiting while he was dancing in front of Lord Jagannath. But that mood could be understood by who? Rupa Goswami. Why? Because of his complete surrender and humility at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has given everything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given everything to him because of his quality of humility. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also exhibiting that quality of humility while dealing with the Mayavadi sannyasi, and everybody there, they became Vaishnavas by this wonderful quality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu is also teaching the principle we also talked at the beginning of our session, that an acharya means who teaches by example. Whatever he speaks, he does in his own life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not talking about humility. He is not talking about menial services. He is personally doing it. That is very, very important. So cleansing of the Gundicha temple is very, very important pastime for us to learn how a leader should function. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leading the cleaning. Not he was instructing and he was not cleaning. He was leading the cleaning. So leader means he will be at the front. That is the quality of a leader, right? He should be at the front. Nowadays, they are in the office. So Arjuna was at the front of the battle, right? Battlefield. All the soldiers were behind him. But it's not happening nowadays, right? So that is the problem. So Mahaprabhu, he is showing by his own example that if you want to inspire people, people always says how to inspire. Inspirational talk, motivational talk. That's why it is said that you should preach the gospel all the time, but talk about it for some time. But we are talking all the time, but we have to practice that also. So examples speak louder than the voice. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is cleaning by himself, he does not have to tell others to clean. Because his example is louder than his instructions. That is called Acharya. So that's why if anybody is not doing some service, the best way to motivate what? You start doing it. And we have seen in our own lives also. Personally, myself also. So when leader is at the front, it's very, very easy to inspire. If leader is not at the front, very, very difficult. So by simple example like this, Mahaprabhu could motivate, inspire so many devotees. So this is very, very important principle to set an example and leading at the front. It's rasa. It's a higher principle that it is said rasa is the highest principle. So it's not accusing Mahaprabhu, it's glorifying Mahaprabhu. So this is another angle. So we are not going to enter into that esoteric part today. But principle remains the same. He does not give order, he also preaches, but he also gives instruction. That is also there. There are different levels of leaders. It's not that temple president has to clean every day, but those who are the service authorities of cleaning, service authorities of prasadam service, if he is there on the front, then things become very easy. And sometimes temple president can also come to inspire the service authority also. This is a whole chain. You understand? But the principle remains the same. If you are at the front, things become very inspirational and motivational and easy. Okay? And when you are in the field, you don't need so many resolutions. The service list, this and that. That's also needed. I'm not discouraging that. But when you are in the field, things become very easy. But we are too much into meetings, no? Then meeting minutes, send a reminder. That's the way we function. That is, I'm not telling that's not to be done, but Mahaprabhu is setting some higher principles of leadership. That is the universal principle, highest principle. There are different kinds of leadership. Before becoming a leader, you should become a follower. In order to become a teacher, you have to become a student first. So who is a good student, he can become a good teacher, right? Who is a good follower, he can become a good leader. So you have to learn to serve. You will have to learn to follow. When you follow, then people will follow you. That is the secret of leadership. That is called Guru Parampara also. Why it is so wonderful? Because everybody follows. But Kali Yuga problem is that people don't like to follow others, but they want others to follow him. That is the problem. And leadership is not some people think, oh, he is a born leader. That is also a myth. So one person came to a village and he asked, so in your village leaders are born? And he replied, in our village only children are born. So the people think that leaders are born leaders. Yes, certain people have different talents, but you should not think that it's a God-gifted thing and you cannot develop any qualities to become a leader. It's also a myth. So, leader can be produced through practice. A person can become a leader. and follower can become a leader. So our principle should be that we should learn to follow. And there are different levels of leaders. It's not that everybody can become all top class leader. It's not like that. That's why it is important principle. We should know who we are and accordingly act. That is very, very important principle. They are satisfied. Just like Hanuman is satisfied serving Ram in the mood of servitorship. The friends of Vrindavan, they are very happy serving Krishna in that mood. So they are not thinking, Hanuman is not thinking, oh my God, when I can become friend of Krishna in Vrindavan. He is not thinking, he is completely satisfied. So we also have to learn that who we are. But problem in material world that we have a hierarchy. And people all want to go to the top of the ladder. That is the problem. But what is the disadvantage of that? In this world, positions are less, candidates are more. Right or wrong? In a temple president position is one. And can be so many candidates wants to become temple president. Then what will happen? There will be politics. Because unless that president is removed, other cannot enter into that. But in spiritual life, the goal of our life is to become a pure devotee. So beauty of Krishna consciousness is that our goal is to become premik bhakta, develop love of Godhead. Ador Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava and Prema. That's the goal of our life. But if someone achieves the goal of love of Godhead, it doesn't mean that others cannot get. That position is unlimited. Right? There is no position crisis. And another beauty of Krishna consciousness is that if you want to become a devotee attaining love of Godhead, you have to take shelter of devotee who has attained love of Godhead. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. So taking shelter gives perfection in spiritual journey. But in our material perfection, you cannot take shelter, because if you take shelter, you cannot get that position. Then what you have to do? You have to remove him from that position. That's exactly the nature of this world. Okay. So any other point? Otherwise we will go to the other principles. Compassion. What's the time? So when you have to end? 6:15, right? So time is running, sorry. Okay. That will be better. So I think tomorrow I have the session. So I was thinking that same session you may not be interested. I think that's why Krishna's arrangement. I am not able to complete today. So do you think that there are other things also? So you can continue tomorrow. Are you able to come tomorrow, all of you? Huh? Then that will be nicer, right? So instead of hearing the same thing, maybe you can part 1, part 2, that will be good. Okay, so we are not in a hurry. So that's okay for all of you? Okay, thank you so much. Then next principle is compassion. So compassion is very much needed in order to be a true leader. We are talking about service. Who can serve? Who has compassion. So how to develop compassion? How to develop it? People ask questions. So I was hearing a very important, very interesting point, that passion and compassion. So compassion means passion. Less passion. As passion reduces, compassion manifests. That is the way. So if our heart is filled with Rajaguna, we cannot have compassion. So passion means exploitation. Compassion means service. Why people have the exploitive tendency in this world? Because their hearts are filled with passion. So the spiritual journey, that's why Srimad Bhagavatam begins with upgrading our modes. Very, very important. If our heart is filled with passion and ignorance, it's very, very difficult to manifest divine qualities. That's why we have to follow the instruction given by Sutta Goswami, the second chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very wonderfully has explained how we can upgrade our modes. But the essence is that we have to do service. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. In order to cultivate the compassion, and in order to achieve that, we have to reduce our passion. What is the process? Hearing. Hearing book Bhagavat from person Bhagavat. So we have to hear from realized person. Then we can get a lot of benefit. If you hear from person without realization, also you'll get some benefit. But if we want to really get benefit, then we have to hear from realized persons. How we get the benefit? When someone who does not have realization, he can give only information. He will give information, transmit information, this information, that information. That's very useful. But that cannot change our life. But who can change our life? Who is realized. Because he is transformed, and when we hear from a person who is transformed, then our heart will be also transformed. It is said that in the heart of a realized soul, Krishna resides. And when he speaks from the heart. One is speaking from the brain, speaking from the intelligence, and speaking from the heart. We should not think who is speaking from heart is less intelligent. It's not like that. Intelligence is included in the heart. It's inclusive. In 100 rupees, 50 is also there. But when you are having intellectual presentation, there is no compassion in that. There is no love in that. There is no heart in that. That's why it cannot change people's life. You can impress their intellectual capacity. You can motivate them intellectually, but you cannot change people's life if you are not having that compassion in your heart. So when someone is having compassion, then that sound vibration carries the aroma, Shastra says, that carries the aroma of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. And it becomes very, very powerful. And when it enters into the ear and goes to the heart of the sincere listener, Krishna is transferred from the heart of the speaker to the heart of the listener. And then transformation takes place. And Prabhupada says that is the real meaning of Diksha. Diksha means transfer of Krishna from the heart of the Guru to the heart of the disciple. So then, when we hear from the person who is compassionate, then we also develop compassion. So hearing from realized soul really helps us to cultivate mode of goodness and cultivate the quality of compassion. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is so strict dealing with the ladies, here he is exhibiting a very unique and wonderful example that an old lady is standing on his shoulder to see the beautiful form of Lord Jagannath. And he is not telling anything. Why? Because his heart is filled with compassion. That's why he wants to see that everybody gets the benefit of Krishna consciousness and get the perfection in their life. And he was also thinking, he was so humble, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that when I will develop that kind of intense desire to see the Lord. See the level of Krishna consciousness in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Humility can conquer anyone, including the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is showing that example that if we want to really preach Krishna consciousness, if we really want to help others, then we have to have the heart of compassion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also showing by his own example how compassion can conquer the heart of people. So it's 6:15 now. So any question, comment? Yes. I told that we have to hear. You have to hear from realized souls. You have to hear from person who is compassionate. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. That is the process. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very powerful process to change our heart. And it also said, Jasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Sarvai Gunastattva Samasatesura. When you are engaged in pure devotional service of Krishna, all the divine qualities of the demigods, and also demigods don't have also. That kind of qualities also will manifest in the character of the devotee. Akinchana Bhakti. When we render pure devotional service. When we render devotional service without any material expectations. It's called Akinchana. Okay? Any other comment? Yes. Okay. When a pure devotee speaks from the heart, that sound vibration carries the aroma of the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. And when it goes into the heart of the sincere listener, Krishna is transferred from the heart of the speaker to the heart of the listener. And that is the perfection, and that is called initiation. Yes. Yes. Delegation is always wonderful. We'll come to that principle also. Principle of delegation is very, very important principle of leadership. But we have to delegate the authority, not the responsibility. If you keep the authority and delegate the responsibility, you are a micromanager. And when you delegate the authority and keep the responsibility, you are a leader. So we have to choose whether you want to become a micromanager or you want to be a leader. Okay? So that will come tomorrow. Anything else? So we can end here today. 6:15. Thank you very much for tolerating me for so long. So we'll continue our journey tomorrow. So how many you covered? Total? Compassion. This is the third one, right? Third, we have another seven principles. For example. Only two, Acharya and compassion. Three. Humility, Acharya and compassion. Three we covered, we have another seven. No, but we'll come again. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.